Hey guys, this is Carlotta B, and this is Real Talk Houston. We are season 2, episode 7. So I just want to welcome you guys today. The first thing I want to say is that today's episode is sponsored by Houston Party Pals and Rentals. Dana offers 360 photo booths to take your wedding, your party, your birthday party, your baby shower, whatever you're doing to a different level. She also offers mascots for children's birthday parties as well. So you guys reach out to Dana for your party needs. Her Instagram is Houston_360_experience. And her Facebook is Houston Party Pals and Rentals. Okay, so today we have a very special guest in the house. We have James Guillory. James is a Democratic candidate for Texas State Representative for District 131. So welcome, James, to the building.
Thank you for having me.
Real Talk Houston.
Thank you.
So first I want to let everyone know exactly what a state representative does. So I couldn't remember the whole thing, so I have it on my cue cards here. So You're part of a government which, like the federal government, it has 3 branches. It has executive, it has legislative, and also judicial.
Correct.
So once you are elected, I'm not going to say if, once you are elected Texas State Representative for District 131, your primary duties are going to be to create and vote on the bills that make new laws and also modify or update the current laws that exist.
Exactly.
Right? And the Texas House of Representatives is composed of 150 members. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that is what James is running for. You guys, we're going to talk about the early voting date. The actual election day is March 1st, and they also have early voting, and I'll let James talk about that when it's time, but definitely keep in mind that the actual election day is March 1st, okay? So we want to talk a little bit to James about, you guys, Boss Fam Nation, you know the drill. We always want to talk about who's sitting next to me and where they're from. So we'll give James the opportunity to give us that information right now.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much for having me.
Sure.
Once again. And actually, my name is James Guillory, and I'm from Houston, born and raised. Grew up in Hiram Clark area of Houston.
Hiram Clark.
Yeah, Hiram Clark, Brentwood area of
All
Houston.
right, all right.
Graduate of James Madison High School.
Madison.
Yeah, and actually attended school in that area my entire life, from Hobby Elementary to Dowling Middle School. And also I'm a graduate of the University of North Texas, and I serve on the board of directors for the last 7 years with the University of North Texas.
Okay, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. As a teenager, did you have any interest in politics, or what were your interests as a teenager? Did you have any idea that you would be in this position today?
You know, not at all. I've never looked at politics as a career path. That I wanted to attain. Didn't aspire to do that. I found myself as a student in high school anyway, very focused on football and athletics, and having a good time. And worked a lot too. My parents have been in the gas station and grocery store business since I was born in 1974.
Oh wow!
They've had my parents have had 3 gas stations and grocery stores. 2 off of Cullen, 1 off of Liberty Road in 5th Ward, and I did a lot of residential and multifamily real estate investing as well.
Oh, nice. You can't go wrong with real estate.
Can't go wrong with it. And working in those businesses all my life, and playing football, I realized, towards that senior year that I had a little better skill set as a business person than I had as an athlete.
Okay, gotcha.
So when it was time to go to college, instead of going to, a smaller college or junior college just because I said I was going to continue on with football, I decided to go with what I felt my strengths were. And that was going to college, get that degree, and be a good business person. That was my goal. Continue on growing my family's business or doing something else in business.
Right. You wanted to take the business route.
Yes.
So you excelled in that area more so than you did in sports.
Sure did.
What position did you play in football?
I actually played linebacker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I found that there was some bigger guys as linebacker. I thought I was a little bigger then too, but I found that there were some bigger guys playing that position, and I just was not excelling it. Didn't have the foot speed. You start to learn as you get up, and
it's about that speed.
It's about that speed. I don't care how big you are. You got to have the speed to go along with it. So recognize my strengths, recognize my limits, prayed on it, and decided I'm going to play with my strengths and go to that level in business where I can excel and be happy and be productive.
Yeah. So from a business perspective relative to education, what subjects did you excel in? Was it math? Was it history? Was it political science? What were your educational strengths? I know your interest was in business itself, but what were your educational strengths, and what was your worst course?
My worst course. Well, I think my strength was definitely mathematics.
Okay.
I really enjoyed mathematics. Economics. That maybe came along more so in college.
Okay.
But really enjoyed mathematics. Really enjoyed economics. And I would say probably the challenging courses probably were the science courses.
Oh, yeah.
Probably just didn't have that interest like some did in the science courses. So. But I made it through. Still.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you say your family? Does anyone in your family have a political background at all? You're the first.
I'm the first in my immediate family. Yes.
Okay,
I'm the first in my immediate family that has taken this leap of faith.
Okay.
To pursue a position on the political stage.
Okay.
And this came to me only about. A little over a year ago as we were dealing with COVID.
Okay, and that's what I was going to ask. When did you develop that interest?
Throughout, I would say that 2020 term, as we were dealing with COVID, I'm a business owner, and I'll tell you a little bit about this. So I've been in business, my parents have been in business as a family. We've been in the gas station grocery store business for 47 years.
Okay, wow.
About 1999 time frame, about 22 years now, a little over 22 years now, we went into the hotel business as hotel owners and developers. And this was my initiative and my idea, my kind of brainchild.
Okay, that was the real estate aspect.
That's right.
Okay.
And my parents supported me in that effort. I was actually working as a corporate tax accountant. I was traveling a lot, staying in hotels. Saw it as a viable business, called my parents about it, and my parents, I was the baby, so I was the last one to get it, finish college.
Yeah.
And my parents said, hey, listen, we about to sell some of this stuff off, do a little semi-retirement, live off the hard work and effort that we put in that's now paying dividends for them.
Right.
Hey, if you find a way to make that business make money, come present it to us, and we might invest with you.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Nice
that offer they made to me made me go out and learn more about their business, because I just finished an accounting and business degree.
Right.
I knew nothing about hospitality and hotels.
Yes, HRM.
Right.
Yeah.
So I took my time on the weekends and evenings after work to go to the Dallas Public Library downtown. I was working in Dallas at the time.
Okay.
To learn about hospitality, hotel development, hotel construction, construction as a whole. So I taught myself that business. I found a number of people building hotels. I would stop by the construction sites, find a superintendent, sometimes run into an owner. And I got to know a few guys who were actual owners who kind of took me in and took me under their wings.
Oh, that's great.
And
so they kind of mentored you in that industry.
Me.
Yeah.
And long story short, my family and I got into the business. We decided I would move back to Houston from Dallas, and this was the 97, 98 time frame. I moved back to Dallas, and we purchased our first franchise with Hilton Hotels.
Oh, great.
It's a Hampton by Hilton. We purchased that franchise, opened it up. We bought the franchise for Deer Park, Texas, which is on the east side of Houston.
Okay.
And I did not know it, but after we signed that franchise agreement, I got a call. It probably couldn't have been 2 weeks after I signed the franchise agreement, and I found out, I was told that we were the first African-American franchisees in the Hilton system to own a Hampton by Hilton.
Wonderful.
And this is 1999.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Quite an accomplishment.
There were, at that time, I think there were over 1,300 Hampton by Hiltons in the system.
Okay.
but no African American owners.
Owners. Yes.
So it was great to see my mother and my father were my partners. We were a woman and minority owned business.
Okay.
And to be that first group, it was just a beautiful thing.
Yes. That's a milestone. That's a major milestone.
It was a blessing.
That is a wonderful accomplishment.
Right.
That is so amazing. So you definitely have the business elements. You've got the organizational skills, the business elements. Been a lot of places, seen a lot of things. We had some questions that came in from my audience from Boss Fam Nation. We will ask those questions at the end of our interview. Okay. If they haven't been covered during the interview, I'll ask them at the end of the interview. Okay.
Sure.
I'll pull those questions out and ask. So just to talk a little bit to some of the initiatives that James wants to address once he is elected Texas State Representative for District 131. He's going to cover the areas of fairness, education, and opportunity, you guys. So under that, he's going to be focusing on education, jobs and career training, senior and veteran services, fair property taxes, housing affordability, which is very important, and because homes are 30% higher these days, right? Yep. So housing affordability, safer neighborhoods first and foremost that's important too, and fair insurance coverage. There's a lot of rhetoric around insurance coverage. Some people are getting robbed on their insurance. Some people are paying an arm and a leg for their insurance and not getting what they're paying for. So they go to the doctor, they're paying an arm and a leg. When they go to the doctor, they still have to come out of pocket because, it's not covered. Oh, they don't cover that. So that is definitely a huge problem. So those are the things that he's going to be focusing on once he's elected. And we're going to talk a little bit more about, in depth about what his initiatives are, what he plans to do once he's elected. What personal characteristics, James, do you think you have that make you a great candidate for this position?
Yes, I just finished today with probably my 30th plus interview with the Political Action Committee.
Yes. And
that question came up.
Okay.
And I was really proud of my answer, by the way.
Wonderful.
But and where it goes, being a person that's been in hotel development, residential multifamily development, being a property owner, this business that I've been in, my daughter asked me one time, Dad, what does being a developer mean?
Okay.
Right? What's that definition? And I even wanted to think about how can I give her a good definition, make her understand. And I thought about it one night, and I came back the next morning and told her, so you know what? The best definition for what I do, projects, by the way, that something's going to come up. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
This is true.
So I go in with the mindset that, I'm a project manager to get this deal developed and built and open, but I'm going to be a problem solver because something's going to come up. And working as a team, when I'm working with architects, engineers, franchises, management companies, the customers, sales teams, all that, I work with all these groups, and we are a team. We are working to give the best product, the best service at the best location, and solve problems immediately so we keep our customers happy.
Right.
And keep our employees happy that they are employed and working for our business, our company. Right. Because if they're happy, if those employees are happy, my customers are well taken care of, my business grows and is strengthened. So I see that quality that I believe I have as a problem solver is something that I can take now to this public office position. And when I identify and saw, like I said back in the COVID period, when I decided I wanted to address some of this disconnect and disrespect that we saw taking place in our political arena. Yes. I really felt, that skill of a problem solver, I could take it to that arena. Yes. I could really talk to not only Democrats but also Republicans about the fact that, while we're either fighting each other's party or fighting internally within our own party, our citizens, our constituents, our workforce, and our young people are suffering.
They are, truly.
Just because we're so focused on party. I want us to focus on people.
People. Exactly.
Regardless of the badge. I'm a proud Democrat. I'm happy to serve as a Democrat. I'm going to work as a team with all Democrats. but we got to be ready to work together. We only
Yes,
we
yes.
control slightly less than 43% of that state legislature, those 150 that you mentioned.
Okay, yeah.
We will never rule and get bills through by just focusing on just what a Democrat believes in.
Right.
We got to find
together.
that middle ground
Yeah.
to get something accomplished for our constituents, for our community, for our city and our state.
That is critically important. It cannot be the Democrats versus the Republicans, Republicans versus the Democrat. Let's see who, there has to be some give and take. And the important thing is what you said, it's for the people.
It's for the people.
It's not, we won. As a party, it's the people that are at stake here.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
so, yeah, and I totally agree with you on that. So it sounds like you really have a passion for what you are trying to accomplish here. Your initiatives are amazing. I love your initiatives. I think that's something that we definitely need for Houston and for Texas.
Yes.
So we're really hoping that you land that seat in Austin, because we need someone with your mindset and your mentality and your skills and your characteristics on our side.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm really rooting for you on that. I know you've got endorsements already in place. You have the Houston Black Firefighters Association as well as the Houston Police Officers Union. So let's talk about those two endorsements first. How did you get those endorsements? What are you planning to do for them? And do you have any other endorsements that are in the pipeline or that you already have that I'm not aware of?
Sure. Well, how I came about those initial endorsements, actually since about, I would say ever since September of 2021, we've been reaching out to political action committees in Austin at our state capitol as well as locally. We've gotten fantastic reception. I believe we've met with probably over 40 plus political action committees, face to face, and some on Zoom due to COVID still going on. And we've gotten a fantastic reception. I will say that unfortunately, many of the political action committees and organizations that some of our professions represent, whether it's teachers, police officers, firefighters, nurses, those professions and more, many of them unfortunately still have what I consider an incumbent paralysis. They are welcoming to me presenting my platform. When I finish, I can get a standing ovation of what I plan to do to promote these initiatives and better our community and change and work on the things that Alma Allen, who's been in the position for going on 18 years now, and has been on the school board for 10 years prior, so 28 years a politician, a former principal, former teacher. I get an applause that I'm going to work on not only keeping the things going that she's done well, and work on the things that have not been going in the right direction. They still come back and say to me, well, our organization doesn't support a candidate against an incumbent. I did not realize that existed within our political structure, that they would automatically say, although we think you're the best person for the job to do the things that now need to be done for the next 5 years or 10 years, we have almost a regular platform that says we don't support a candidate over an incumbent. I say all that to say, all that to say that the Houston Police Officers Union and the Houston Black Firefighters Association, men and women met with me and interviewed me. And I believe they had the backbone to say, although this is the way we've done it, Alma Allen has had 28 years to do her best. And now there are things that need to be addressed today that need someone with the right ideas, energy, creativity, and willingness to not only serve 6 months at the state capitol every other year, but serve your whole 24 months, boots on the ground, working with the community, working with HISD school board and superintendent, teachers and principals, city council members, county commissioners. I'm the person that would do that.
You're the person.
That is my goal, not just to serve 6 months in Austin, make laws and to work on laws that need changes and adjustments made to them.
Yeah.
Every issue that we have in our community is not going to be resolved with a law.
That's true.
It's going to be resolved with initiatives and ideas from the community themselves on how we're going to come together to fix them.
Right.
And work together to fix them. It's going to take us.
Okay. So it's listening to the people. Yeah.
That's it.
Seeing what they need, what their gripes, what their complaints are, what's needed in their communities.
And not only that, what are their ideas? You know, I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
Thank God, my foundation is built off of public school education from elementary to high school to college.
Yeah.
They built my foundation. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I'm not a teacher.
Right.
So I need to sit around the table with the teachers that exist today.
Yes.
With the technology they have to deal with today, with the challenges they have to deal with today, to give me your ideas. I don't want to go to Austin to create a law that you have to abide by when I didn't get your input on what needs to be included to help you and those students excel.
Right.
And for those teachers to properly get paid as a profession
yes.
for doing the great things
That's
they're doing
big.
to educate our students.
That's big. That's big.
Yes.
So, speaking to that, everyone has always said for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, very important careers are underpaid, and those are school teachers and law enforcement.
Yes.
Has there been any change in those areas as far as salaries? Have there been increases? Is that getting better? Is that on the table for discussion to, like you said, pay them what they're worth? What's happening in that area right now?
I think if what I was able to look at and review when this session ended in 2021, you know, there were some things where they threw a bone to the educators, but they really didn't give them the consistent pay increases and the commitment to the pay increases that they need and deserve. As I've been out campaigning since that August, September time frame, I've met with a lot of teachers. And they say that over and over again about our pay and our salary and the appreciation for their profession. So I think there's definitely a lot of work that needs to go into it. There's still a lot of work with the police officers and with the firefighters. You know, they've had their challenges locally with our city with the funding for their pay and their pay increases.
They have.
And you know what? I think we have to, and I hope to help be part of the bridge that brings together our police officers and firefighters, our emergency service professionals, so that we respectfully understand the roles of each. And respectfully work towards everybody getting fair compensation and fair increases. And because I hate seeing the division that comes about internally when these things happen. Because we need to be a team when we get on those streets.
This is true. Definitely.
I need to see our firefighters, no matter their race, no matter gender. I need to see that they're a team. Because one of my other goals when it comes to those police officers and firefighters and emergency personnel is to take them in the community that I serve. So that the young men and women that are in our community, we rebuild the relationship with law enforcement.
That's great.
I want to see. I want to see the respect by law enforcement for the citizens, and I want to see the citizens' respect for our law enforcement. So I want to help rebuild that. And you know, one other thing, I want to see the education that the law enforcement and the firefighters can bring to those young people in our future workforce to let them know about all the opportunities that exist in those professions. I've gone to board meetings for like the police officers union, Houston Police Officers Union, and I'm sitting around a board meeting of probably 50 men and women. And when they go around the room and tell me all the different departments that they work in as a detective or police officer or alcohol and beverage, undercover.
Undercover.
When I hear all these wonderful things and they sound cool, I'm saying, you know what? I bet you our young people don't even know that all that exists. They see a law enforcement person on a motorcycle, in a car, on the beat, on probably a horse. But at the end of the day, do you really understand all the broad opportunities that could be a great career for you?
Yeah.
And also, do you know about the things that can keep you from being able to be in that career if you go down the wrong path?
Right.
With something on your record.
Exactly.
So we got to go in those.
From being able. Yeah.
We got to go into those schools, and I'm talking about from junior high, 9th grade on up. We got to talk to them, educate them, and let them know the good opportunities are there. So we got to remind them life is about choices.
That is true.
You're going to make a choice, and I want you to know if you choose this path, what you're in for.
Right.
I want you to know if you go this way, here's the opportunity.
This is what's going to happen. Yeah.
So that goes back to my platform.
Yeah.
Fairness, education, and opportunity.
Yes.
We're about to grow.
Okay, that's great.
Our state is growing. Need to grow. Our country is growing. I don't want my black and brown community that makes up 90% of my district to be left behind any longer.
I totally agree. We need that.
It's time to fix this.
We need that mentality. We definitely need that mentality. And our youth our future is in the hands of our youth.
That's our
right.
If we don't get them prepared to work, who's going to pay our Social Security? Who's going to be paying that bill?
Exactly.
Right now, we have seniors and retirees complaining right now about how their Social Security is cut if they just go get a part-time job. And already, the Social Security is not paying enough to take care of them. They got to take the part-time job.
It's already minimal. Exactly. So they have to be careful what they make, or the Social Security that they are getting is cut off.
It's a mess. You know what? That's one of the initiatives I want to work with. I think one of our strongest resources in our community, right now in our community, are retirees, seniors, and retired veterans.
Yes.
These men and women, I want to make sure I can find a way to compensate them. Bring back that experience, that knowledge, that education from whatever profession you had before you retired.
Right.
And let's go back into the schools with it.
Yes.
Because these students don't know those opportunities that exist. They don't know the pitfalls that they've been through.
Right.
They can help elevate these young men and women immediately.
I know. Yeah. It's even worse now that we've been stricken by COVID for the past 2 years. Right. No one is really going into the schools to there's not really any assemblies going on, and they're not bringing anyone in to talk to these kids.
Right.
So that is definitely a gap. We definitely need to address that.
Yes, ma'am. Because
they're growing up in a world that's turned upside down. It's abnormal. They're feeling displaced. Things are all thrown off for them, and that's another double negative for them right there. They're already at a disadvantage because they're not getting the information.
That's right.
And a lot of our youth today, I've talked to a lot of our youth, and the first thing they say is, policemen don't get paid enough. Firefighters don't get paid enough. The risk is too high. The teachers, and they're all complaining, but those are all really, really critical careers. We need those people. And another thing that I wanted to ask you about, this is a question that I hope I don't catch you off guard. I'm throwing it in, but what can we do to address the sexual misconduct in the schools? Is it something they're not doing relative to background checks with these teachers that they're bringing in? Is it the students? Are they more promiscuous these days, more aggressive? What is happening in the schools with this conduct, and why are these grown people talking to these little kids? And what can we do about that?
I'm gonna be honest, that's gonna be one that's really gonna take some sit down and some soul searching. Yeah. I actually met with, of those 5 high schools that are in my district.
Okay.
It is Sterling, Worthing, Madison, Westbury, and Sharpstown.
Okay.
Madison sits in the middle of the district and within the boundaries that were created by the state legislature for District 131. Worthing and Sterling the buildings sit outside of the district, but those constituents, those citizens that are zoned to District 131 are zoned to that school.
Okay.
So with those schools, by the way, those schools have a 75% average graduation rate of all 5 of those high schools. This was a report that comes out annually by the U.S. News. It came out in 2021 when I decided I was going to do this.
Yeah.
But those 5 schools combined have a below 75% graduation rate and a below 25% college readiness rate.
Ooh.
Right? So one of the things I made a priority, as you see on the information that District 131 citizens will be getting at their doors, that'll be knocking on their doors, that's on my
yes.
signs throughout the community.
Yeah,
I made
yeah.
education improvement the first priority on that list.
That's great.
And I made sure that I
Great.
reached out to all 5 of the principals at all 5 of
All
those
those
schools.
schools.
I have
Yes.
met so far with 4 of them. One was not available the day that I wanted to go by and
Okay.
visit.
Okay.
So we're going to continue to outreach. And I know I owe a lot of attention to my elementary schools and my junior high schools. Don't worry. After we win this election in March, you all are my priority through November too, to come and meet with you one-on-one and work with you, not only principals, but teachers and administrators.
Mm-hmm.
So going back exactly to your question now, I brought that up because when I met with, it was the principal at Madison High School.
Mm-hmm.
She and I met, we were out at an event, and we were having that same discussion at the table, and she was telling me about the things that are going on in that school.
Yes.
That, you know, we don't hear about that every day. That's not on the news every day.
Exactly.
Right? And
Right.
Bless God, I have 6 wonderful children.
Oh,
And
wow.
thank
yeah.
God that those messages haven't gotten back to me like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I heard that, you know, it's heartbreaking to hear. And I know, listen, we were all teenagers. We've all done some things that we're not very proud of.
Right. Right.
But I think what I'm hearing now and some of the things that are going on are really getting in the way of these young men and women being focused on why we need them at school,
Yes.
what they need to be accomplishing
Yes.
at school.
Yes. Exactly.
So I can honestly say I don't have a complete answer for how we resolve it.
Yeah.
I do though, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to sit down with a school principal that's been in that position for so many years to share with me, what are you dealing with that we need to work on as priority? This was a priority issue to her. And she shared that with me. And I told her, you know, we need to have more discussions and roundtable discussions like that with all 5 schools.
Yes.
Let's put our head together. So I take back that knowledge back to the state capitol with me. So I make sure if it's funding you need for certain programs, that I work on getting it by explaining what you're having to deal with.
Right.
If it's structure that we need to work on, if it's more engagement with parents, we have some high schools that don't even have a PTA or PTO.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Wow.
If it's engagement with the parents, so we engage with the students.
Yeah.
So we do better as educators. Then let's talk about that. Because if I'm gonna knock on doors to get voted in the office, I'm willing to knock on doors to ask that parent, I really need you at this PTA meeting at the end of the week.
Yes.
I would send out the same team to knock on doors if we need to get the parents into the meetings because these students will not excel without the parents' involvement.
Yes.
And you know
that's
what?
Needed.
That's right. And you know what? We got some young parents that's having some
Yeah.
challenges being responsible parents themselves.
Exactly.
That's another way we can use that great resource we have in our retirees and our veterans and retired veterans.
Yes.
We can be that, I would say that arm of strength that can connect with those young parents and those parents that are being challenged, whether financially, whether education-wise, to say, you know what, we need to connect you with someone who can work with you and help you.
Exactly.
And I want to find a way to get funding to compensate those retirees and not let them get slaughtered by a Social Security system where they get penalized for helping build up our community and strengthen our community and educate our community.
Right.
It's a lot to be done.
That's needed. It is a lot to be done.
It's a lot to be done.
You've got your job cut out for you.
You know
really
what?
do.
I'm
I love your passion about what needs to be done and how involved you are in the community. And you're getting in the trenches and you're going to these schools, you're getting out in the community and you're trying to understand what's happening, what's needed, what are your woes, what are your challenges. And you're taking, like you said, you're keeping notes, you're taking it all back, and we need to develop a plan to address all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
So I love it. I really need that. Are there any existing laws? Do you have one at the top of your mind that you want to modify or change? Is there anything existing currently that you've got your eye on that you know you want to change or modify?
I think one that stands top of my list would be the permitless carry law that recently got passed.
That was one of my questions.
Oh, really?
Yes, please, let's talk about that. How do you feel about that? No CHL required. I'm sure everybody know about this gun law. No CHL required. Anybody can just go buy a gun and just be all willy-nilly out there, just free as a bird. So how do you feel about that?
You know, think it's super dangerous.
Super.
Extremely dangerous.
It's an understatement, yes.
I think,
yes.
one, I've been a responsible gun owner.
Right, me too.
All my life.
Yep.
Ever since I was, an adult, at least. So I've been a responsible gun owner. I believe in protecting my property, my family,
yes.
things of that nature. But I really believe that it's only prudent and smart that we make sure everyone who now qualifies to have a firearm and carry a firearm goes through the basic training of how to use it, how to protect yourself and your family, and definitely the registration of a firearm.
Exactly.
I think it's the proper thing to do.
Yes.
So I think it was funny that right when that law went into effect, I remember being at a gas station.
Okay.
And watching a gentleman who was walking around with his firearm on his hip, walking into the gas station, and I just thought to myself, I said, you know what, for that gentleman just to think that he is stronger, or just invincible because he has a gun on.
Because he has a gun.
You know what? Anybody could get out of another car, walk up behind him while he's pumping the gas, and still hurt him before he even gets his own firearm.
I know.
You are
exactly.
not. You're
not invincible.
You are not invincible just because you can carry a gun.
Exactly.
I want responsible gun ownership and people to be able to protect themselves and their family. But also, let's also be responsible and say, you know what? Let's properly be trained on it.
Right.
Let's know whose hands the guns are in.
Right.
And let's make sure we're not letting guns that are more powerful than our police officers who are there to protect us.
Available in the streets.
That's right. Available in the streets that can overpower the
ones that are out there
police that are out there to serve us. That's right. That is
That's
just
a problem.
ridiculous.
I know.
That is just ridiculous.
I know.
So
when I saw that, I said, this can't be happening. This cannot be happening.
Yeah. So that's one that's priority. I think the voter suppression bill that has come into play in this last session. It is ludicrous that we are not able. You know what? We can pay our taxes to the government online.
Right.
We can mail a check in to them.
Right.
And everything goes just fine as long as that check clears, right?
That's right. But if it bounces.
Yeah. Right. but my point is, if we can do that, why can't we vote online? Why can't we easily vote by mail? Things that there's so many options there that have been proven to be effective and work properly and safely without the fraud that Republicans wanted to say existed.
Exactly.
That they couldn't find enough evidence on how much existed.
Right.
It's just shameful that we're not trying to make it easier for everyone's voice to be heard.
Yes.
We have to change that because when I start researching this district and this position and looking at the voting record, I have about a little over 175,000 constituents in District 131.
Okay.
Of those 175, there were about 145,000 that were 18 years and older of voting age.
Okay.
Of those 145,000, only 98,000 were registered to vote.
Oh, how many?
98,000.
Okay.
So 145,000 voting age, 98,000 registered
to vote.
But check this out. During the voting period, over the last 5 periods of voting for District 131 state representative, less than 15,000 people total came out to vote in the primary election.
Less than 15,000.
Less than 15,000. That is less than, I think, maybe 6 or 7% of the ones that's registered.
Oh my!
And of the ones that could vote, only about 10% of the ones that can vote. If you think about it, 90% of that population that could vote, over 130,000 people are not going to the polls to vote.
Yeah.
And listen, what they're doing, and I'm talking here to the audience here, that whether you are 18, 28, 38, 58, 78, doesn't matter. When you don't vote, you just gave someone else the right to decide what happens with your life, with your taxes, with your checkbook, with your salary, with your pay increases as a public official or public employee. You just gave them the right to make the decision.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me tell you something. Majority of the people individuals that have been going out and voting, majority are 60 years and older.
And older. Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody listening tonight, do not let your mom and dad and aunt and uncle continue to make the decisions about your future. You are an adult. You are the one that's going to get impacted by the laws that are passed. I need you to get up. I need you to make sure you are registered to vote, because you can do it online.
Yeah.
You can go and vote online at votetexas.gov. Go to votetexas.gov, register online. Do it before January 31st. We got probably less than 3 or 4 days?
Yep.
You got less than 3 or 4 days, but you can immediately get that form, print it, put it in the mail. It's done. Register to vote.
Register.
And you all who are already registered to vote, don't wait until the general election in November. Don't wait until it's time to vote for the president. So you go out and you vote for the president and every other person that's on the ticket. I need you to go out right now and make sure you're registered.
Right.
I need to make sure that by February 14th through 25th that you go out and vote in early voting for James Guillory, by the way, for Texas State Representative, District 131. And if you're not in my district, find the person that's willing to work to do the things that need to be done in your community right now. And if that is an existing incumbent politician and they have not been doing it to this date, don't give them your vote. You need to give it to the person that's willing to put in the work to fix the problems that need to be fixed right now.
Yes.
So, and also on March 1st, which is election day,
right?
If you haven't gone out by early voting, then go out by March 1st and vote then. But I am begging you all, the only reason that we see the same politicians in office every single year, and you all complain about it. I know, because I've been out since August and September.
Yeah.
You're complaining about these people who are still there and this stuff that's still not done.
Yeah.
It's because you're not voting.
Right.
Don't get discouraged.
Right.
Don't get upset.
Please don't.
Use your vote. Your vote is your voice. That's what I want you to do. No more complaining. Let's put some action behind your energy, or even your anger, or your disappointment.
Yes.
Let's put that to work. We're going to change this. We're going to fix this, but it's going to be fixed because you all who are 60 years and younger, you got out and voted.
Yes.
And I got to say, in my campaigning, as I go out to the civic clubs and speak with the seniors at the senior events at churches. I've spoken at about 12 churches so far. And been presented. When I talk to the seniors, first of all, they're surprised Alma Allen is still running, trying to be a state representative, going to be 84 years old when the session comes back, and nothing's wrong. You know, it's a blessed thing to be 84 years old.
Yes, it is.
I pray the day my parents can see it and I can see it.
Yeah, right.
However, I expect for a politician, as long as they've served, and definitely at that age, when are we going to get behind the younger people that aspire to give their ideas and their energy, and get behind them and say, you know what, I got you.
Exactly.
Let me teach you what I've learned.
Yes.
Let me show you what I know. Let me not lock it up until let's say, unfortunately, some of them my last day, and I never sat down and passed it on to the people and the leaders that are in the community that aspire to put the energy forward to do the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
She's not willing to do it. She said it. I called her. And I called her in May before they ended the first session. In this last 2021 session. Yeah. She finally called me in June. When she called me, I was actually out of town. My campaign coordinator called me, put her on three-way. I thanked her for returning my call. I told her who I was, the fact that I've been in the community this 46 plus years, a little bit about my background, and said, Dr. Allen, I would like to serve my community in this capacity. I was assuming, knowing that she would be 84 years old when the next session came, that she was looking received. I thought there was, hey, I want to mentor somebody to know that I'm putting this in good hands. Yeah. That's not the reception I got.
Not what you received.
She informed me that she was not about to stop campaigning for the next cycle. At that point, I just said, you know what? Once again, thank you for all you've done.
Wow.
I appreciate all you've done and all you've been able to accomplish, but I see a lot of things that are going in the wrong direction. A lot of things that we need to improve upon. She, by the way, at that, we ended that call, and I told her I would be running, and I hope we have a respectful and spirited debate if the opportunity becomes available.
Right.
And just recently, we had that opportunity.
Okay.
About less than a week and a half ago, we had an interview together with Houston Chronicle.
Okay.
And in that meeting, I mentioned the same thing to her and reminded her of the conversation we had.
Exactly.
And she told the Houston Chronicle when they asked her, Miss Allen, why aren't you passing on that baton? Why are you consistently going in this direction when there's so many people who want to work on some things that need to be worked on?
Okay.
And she said, she made the statement, she said, well, I have been grooming somebody. And I stopped her right there. I said, hold on, can I speak now? And I said,
contradictory.
I said, well, Dr. Allen, I came to you in May. You didn't tell me, James, I love to work with you. Let's find some time to get together so I can show you as a Democratic state legislator. I'm a Democratic registered voter. I have the willingness and desire in your district, and I have the willingness and desire to help my community. Right. I expect you to be in open arms saying, James, what can I show you or share with you?
Right, to help you succeed.
To help you succeed, right, and help you continue our community's advancement.
Yes.
That's not the reception I got. That's not the reception that I got with her on the interview with Houston Chronicle. Not only that, we have those 5 schools I mentioned that are either in our district or the families and residents that are in my district are zoned to those schools. Right. She only wants to claim Madison High School. Why? The brick and mortar building is in the district, and we're talking about lines that are drawn by the state legislature that we were just complaining about the redistricting, okay?
Yes.
I don't go along with these fake lines.
Yes.
I got family members that went to Sterling and Worthing and Westbury and Sharpstown,
exactly,
right? Friends that we went to college with and work on jobs with.
Yes.
This fake line doesn't mean anything to me.
Exactly.
The fact of the matter is, this household, those children in the household have to go to Worthing or have to go to Sterling.
Yeah, they have to go to those other schools.
So don't. What I told her, don't have this blind eye. Right. To the fact that those schools are underperforming in graduation and underperforming in college readiness. We need to work with, I don't care if you're going to do it yourself or with the state legislator that's in that community. We got to work together. We cannot say this is my line so I don't care about it. Right. If there's a student that's not being successful in District 146 or 147 or the one south or north of me, I care about them. Yes, they are still a Houston citizen. Exactly. They are our future workforce. Exactly. We should not be saying that we don't have enough people to work. Exactly. We got more than enough people to work. Yes. We have too many being disenfranchised and giving them the ability to work and provide for themselves and provide for their family. Right. We got to fix that. Right.
So may I ask, what was her response who is this person? Do you know who she's grooming? What was her response to your question?
She would not give me that response. You know what? Okay. I would say the one thing that she kept telling them was, well, my daughter has been on the school board for so many years. My son has been on the school board for so many years. Well, I think that's great. Yeah. I'm glad that your children have followed your lead or found a profession that they can excel in and they're doing some good things. Yeah. But it's still not your choice. Exactly. This is not a family business. Exactly. I know what a family business is. I've been in one all my life.
That's right.
My state legislator, this is not a family business. Yeah. The constituents choose.
They choose. They
the
make
elected
the decision.
Official.
Right.
And our elected officials need to stop closing the door to people like myself.
Exactly.
That contact them to say, I like to introduce myself. Yes. I like to share with you my platform and the fact that I'm running. Because what they're doing is they're closing the door to me just because Alma Allen is an incumbent.
Exactly.
That's sad. It's unfortunate.
And unfair.
And it's unfair.
Yes, it is.
And they go back to my thing. Fairness, education, and opportunity.
Exactly. That's right. Fix it. It's unfair. Yes.
We got to fix it.
That's right. I totally agree.
I'll be fixing it from the inside after March.
That sounds wonderful. And we certainly, we're claiming that for sure. So now we're nearing the end. I want to go ahead and ask the questions that came in from the audience. The first one, there's 3 that we're going to call out today. The first one is, what are you doing for voter rights? What are you doing for voter rights?
I think dealing with the voter suppression law and the suppressive laws and restrictions that came with that bill. Yeah. That is an issue that I have to work on as your state legislator and with the community And once again, I have to work with Republican legislators too.
Correct.
You know, listen, we got to go in. There's some people there that at least, even though they're Republican,
yeah,
they have common sense.
Yep.
And some of them still have a heart. Still registering to vote.
Okay.
On time by January 31st, 2022.
Right.
And the voting dates.
Yes.
The other thing that I'm doing is I'm promoting it in the churches. So when I go into the churches and speak, the civic clubs I go to speak at, every event that I go, I talk about the importance of us voting. Listen, we can't change everything with a law immediately.
That's right.
And especially since this legislature is 57% Republican.
Yes.
We do not have a majority.
That's right.
But see, we are, let's be honest, our black and brown community is one of the most resilient and creative
yes, it is. Most
communities
definitely.
and people on this planet Earth.
Yes.
We can find a way.
That's right.
We can get around some things.
Yes.
We can get over some things.
When there's a will,
and we can even go through some things.
That's right.
Right? So we're gonna do it in a respectful way. We're gonna do it in a legal way. But if we gotta reach back to our ancestors and pull down some ideas from Dr. King,
right?
And some of the great men and women, some Barbara Jordans of the world, some Malcolm X. We got to some John Lewis's, right?
All of them.
We need to come together to think about, okay, they have passed this law to challenge our ability, but you know what? Let's put our heads together.
Yes.
We can come up with some other. I tell you what, if we just got that 90% that's not going to vote,
exactly,
that law wouldn't mean nothing.
I know.
It wouldn't stand. Its paper that is written on doesn't mean nothing if we all go out and vote. 90% of the people in my district, 131, are not going out to vote. And I would say if you take this whole map of Houston and all the districts that exist, I would guarantee that probably in those same legislative elections every 2 years, you're probably getting less than 40 to 50% coming out to vote. Yeah. And what people need to know, and I hope you go to James for Texas on my Facebook page, you'll see a video that we just put out just the other day. And it's a rap video that talks about the importance of voting, and it reminds us of what we were taught in school about those different branches of government. And the fact that as a state representative and legislator, as a U.S. congressman or woman, we are the ones that create the laws that the governor signs, that the president signs. Don't just go and vote for the person that signs off on the law.
Exactly.
Make sure you go and vote every 2 years for the person that makes the law.
That makes the laws.
Make sure you vote for the person that makes the laws. It's only every 2 years. I'm asking you, get out your seat. Before you go to the event, to the restaurant, I need you to stop by. I need you to vote. I guarantee you, when I get in office, we're going to shine the light on some things that really need to be addressed, not only within our political system, but within our community,
definitely,
within our family structure. We're going to talk honestly.
Yes.
Honestly, in our own community, within our black and brown community. Let's talk honestly about where we can improve as a people, as a community.
As a community, yes.
Because, plain and simple, we have to promote some work ethic.
Yes, we do.
We got to promote some respectful habits within our community. Yes. We have to be the examples to these young men and women. We can turn this around.
Yes.
These things have been going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but you guys have to show up and vote. You have to register first. Again, January 31st is the deadline for registration.
Yes.
And early voting is
February 14th through the 25th.
14th through the 25th, and election day is March 1st.
Exactly.
Okay. How are we doing anything to help these people get to the polls? The elderly, is there any trucks, vans, Ubers? How are we helping them to make sure that people that are maybe ill are getting to the polls? Do you know what's in place there?
Harris County Democratic Party actually has a platform, and they're working with the state party as well. Okay. So they have some initiatives in place to make sure that they can contact the Harris County Democratic Party office and find out what's your address, your zip code, where you are zoned to vote. Okay. So that we can work on transportation for you. Okay. And I would say this: if you're not getting the answer that you want and you need, I want you to go to James for Texas.
Yes.
And I want you to contact me.
Let him know.
And I will work with you to make sure you get the assistance you need.
Okay, perfect.
And that our Democratic Party is giving the assistance that you need as well.